What conspiracy theories do you think are too logical to ignore? Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. Pretty sure I saw it here on Reddit at one point, but someone brought up the art trade, that these million-dollar art shows, individual pieces that go for insanely high prices are just a way for money laundering. David Miscavige, the chairman of the Church of Scientology, definitely murdered his wife and is getting off scot-free for it. Him and his wife got into a pretty heated argument in 2007, and she hasn't been seen since. Lawyers hired by David claim she is still alive and devotes 100% of her time to work at the Church of Scientology, which is why she hasn't been seen since August 2007. In 2013, a former member of the church had filed a missing person report that was closed after a few officers had spoken and seen Mrs. Miscavige. Even though there's no evidence whatsoever of this meeting, all missing persons reports now are turned down since this investigation is forever closed. This one is small and local, but still too insane to ignore and just came up today. Just recently, our small suburban town's favorite gas station went out of business. Everyone went there. The guy who ran it was the mayor. He retires and sells the property after an issue with the ground underneath the gas pumps. They tear down the gas pumps and keep the garage. Mavis Tire bought the property and opened a new store. A few days after the Mavis opens, someone posts a picture on Facebook of an intersection at a road near it with nails all over the road. The guy theorizes that a box of nails fell off of a construction truck. The police come clean it up and it seems all is well. Fast forward a few days later and people are commenting on the post that they're finding nails in their car tires. Not just from that intersection. People jokingly say maybe it was the new Mavis guys throwing nails around, but nothing really happens. Several weeks later, people have been posting day in and day out pictures of nails in their car tires. My dad took my car into the Mavis in question about 3 weeks ago and they found a nail inside of the right front tire. I noticed that it was driving sort of funny, but never that my tire was on the verge of exploding. I jokingly said people have been saying you guys have just been going around throwing nails all over the place, trying not to laugh at how insane it sounded to say out loud. The guy behind the counter said nothing, but yeah, with a weird smirk. Over 50 people have posted on the town Facebook that their cars have had nails in their tires. My mom is driving my car now, because her car has a nail in the tire. It's been almost 3 months. I'll post updates if anyone is interested. The Denver Airport theory. I mean, the capstone of the building literally has the Freemason logo on it. There's some weird-ass apocalypse murals on the walls. The runways look like a swastika, and there's a 50-foot-tall horse statue with red glowing eyes. I mean, seriously, who the frick designed that place? Nutley, NJ, where Martha Stewart was born, has a butcher shop every other corner. How much meat does one small blue-collar town need? Suspicious. I like that people always are worried that Epstein was murdered, instead of suicide. What if this was a ploy to cover up that he just escaped or paid his way out of prison? The FBI keeps posting questions like this to see what the public knows. Google Maps only asks you for feedback on its navigation when it knows it did a good job. I use navigation all the time, and I find that when it gets me to the destination on time or earlier than predicted, I get a notification asking to rate the trip. But if it gets me there after it originally estimated, I never get that notification. Jamie Lynn Spears was raped by Dan Schneider. He is the father of her first child. The fashion industry makes too much money from purses to care about making pockets for women easily available. That the US knowingly left POWs behind in Vietnam. I believe that the US government has men in black that make people disappear if they know more than what's good for them. Secret societies definitely exist. New Coke was a way for Coca-Cola to switch from real sugar to corn syrup without people noticing. Switch to the new formula that everyone hates. Keep it for a while so that people demand the old one back. Then switch it back after enough time has passed that people wouldn't notice the relatively subtle change. This isn't a conspiracy theory, but I find any chance I can to say that dinosaurs definitely had feathers and deniers are just clinging to Spielberg's image of them. With a number of billionaires that are psychopaths or similar, there must be a few super rich serial killers out there. By extension, there must be people making money supplying victims in the same way Epstein was supplying girls to the wealthy who wanted to scratch an itch. With the money, power and influence would come governments and intelligence agencies willing to overlook or cover up terrible actions for leverage. Nothing's actually happening in Area 51. The government just keep it so people will focus on it and ignore the shady stuff happening somewhere else. I quite like the missing cosmonauts theory. It's unlikely, but seems like it could have been possible. It boils down to the idea that Yuri Gagarin wasn't the first man in space. He was just the first man in space to survive the entire process. The theory that Epstein didn't kill himself, memes aside, he could have probably exposed a lot more rich people for their sex crimes. They just bumped him off before he could do so. That this question is reposted every couple of weeks by them to see just how close the public is to figuring out their schemes, and that this response is reposted every time to throw you off our trail. Mattress Firm is a drug cartel or a money laundering company, or maybe they're laundering money for the drug cartels. I don't know, but whatever it is, they are up to no good. O.J. Simpson is Khloe Kardashian's father. Rob Kardashian himself didn't want a DNA test done, because he knew he wasn't the father, and if you look at Khloe, you can easily tell she has some similarities to O.J. There is a giant money laundering cycle driven by the sale of paintings. It's just a piece of canvas with some paint on it. I may understand some people would be willing to buy paintings from the Renaissance, but modern art is definitely a huge money laundering instrument. The reason Disney came out with a movie called Frozen was so that when you Googled Disney Frozen you would get information about the movie and not websites talking about Walt Disney's body being frozen. The same goes for Disney on Ice. Epstein didn't kill himself. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more r/AskReddit content. Be sure to check out our playlist, link in the description below.